Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Facing a rising sun of a day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Hey, if you are a returning experiencer, welcome back. I missed you. If this is your first experience, welcome. Hey, my name is Hathor, and this is my channel, The Hathor Experience. This is a lifestyle slash variety channel, so I'm going to be giving you a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and everything in between. So if you can pick up what I'm putting down, go ahead and like this video. Leave a comment down below. Holler at your girl. Let me know that you came through. Share with anybody that you feel would find value in this video. Sharing is caring. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever my videos drop. And they don't drop regularly, so go ahead and hit that bell so you will know, because hell, I don't even be knowing when the videos are gonna drop, okay? Just keep it real. It's been a while. If this isn't your first time on my channel, you notice that my background changed. So, transitions, life changed, and I've changed with it. So I got a new background, I got a new do, and I'm ready to do this. So June is Black Music Month. And as you can see, I got on my purple lipstick, and I also got on my Prince earrings because he's one of my favorites. It's definitely one of my favorite colors, and it's also Gemini season. So in case the next video don't drop until next month, I'm trying to cover it all. I just sang the Negro National Anthem. Yesterday was Juneteenth. I would have recorded this then, but Spirit just had to guide me, and the ancestors were talking to me today. So the name of that song is Lift Every Voice and Sing, and I actually had it in my notes to talk about finding your voice for Black Music Month because I am a Black musician. And as a vocalist, finding your voice, I feel, is one of the most challenging parts of the journey. So I thought the song was fitting for the subject that we will be covering today. So, in order to do a little research on Lift Every Voice, I knew I wanted to sing it, but I needed to touch up on the lyrics since it's been a while since I have sang the song. So, I stumbled across a nice little studio video that really had me inspired. But before I cover all that, I just wanted to say that Lift Every Voice and Sing was written by James Weldon Johnson, and that it wasn't even originally a song, it was a poem. And one day somebody was like, hey, that could be a song. They got on the piano, worked it out, and it became a song. And I think that was around 1900. So I think that's really cool. And it just goes to show that even if you don't necessarily have the voice to sing, but you have the words to say, you can still find people to sing your song. So I think that's cool. But going back into my inspiration, and I looked at this studio collaboration, It had Al Green and Denise Williams singing the lead of Lift Every Voice, but it had like all these heavy hitters as background singers. And I really love that because I feel that in today's industry, well, at least for me, being a listener of music when I do, everyone sounds the same. Everybody's looking to follow the same formula to get to fame. And I just feel like back in the day, I know I'm totally an auntie and I sound old as hell for this, but back in the day, we were able to have more of a variety of different voices. The different singers had different elements to bring to the game, different dynamics. And I just loved it. Different flavors, to just make it so good, like a gumbo. And this is one of those things. This is one of these videos. They were actually at a studio, so the musicians were there and the background singers were there, and they were going over it before the two main singers came. And then Denise Williams showed up, and then she was working with it through. She was working through the lyrics and working through the harmonies with the background singers. And then Uncle Al, if you know, you know why I call him Uncle Al. But Al Green came in last and he laid over his vocals. So it was just a really beautiful collaborative effort. I feel like We Are the World, think We Are the World, but better and with only Black people. So it was Black excellence at its finest. So, today's going to be a little bit of a music history lesson, maybe a little bit of a musical, but we're going to roll with it. So, we had Al Green. For all of y'all who may not know who that is, he sings, I'm so in love with you. Whatever you wanna do is alright with me. So that was Al Green. He was the male lead vocalist. And then the female lead vocalist was Denise Williams. And if you've never heard of Denise Williams, because I feel like a lot of artists be sampling these people, but we have no idea who the originals are. So it is Black Music History Month. I want to put a little history in it. So Denise sings one of my favorite songs, which is Free. And then it goes, whispering is easy. My magic potion for love. Telling him I'm sincere and that there's nothing too big for love or us. I don't know, but that is totally one of my shower songs. You know I got to be free. Da-ba-da-ba-ba. Jam. Patty Austin. She's definitely a heavy hitter as far as background singers are concerned. Y'all, I know a lot of people choose to be in the background, but if you've ever been to a live show, like background singers are who keep the vocals together. And if you've ever gone to a show where there have been really dynamic background singers, or if you can think of a live show that you've seen as you were a child and there were background singers, Patty Austin was probably one of those background singers. And um, one of her most popular duets, I feel, is her and James Ingrid, Baby Come to Me. So she was the one that was singing, Baby Come to Me. Won't you put your arms around me and just da-da-da. I don't be knowing all the words, but that. Okay, and she was a background singer in this. The next one was Roberta Flack. Okay, Roberta Flack is definitely one of the queen mothers of music for sure. What you may or may not know is one of our favorites. I'll say our, even though she broke my heart with her lateness because I'm a very punctual person, but it's still Gemini season. Lauryn Hill with the good old strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words. Come on, sing it with me. Killing it softly. Well, Roberta Flack is the originator, honey. If you were inspired by Lauren, Roberta inspired her. So you have to go to the source. And y'all know D'Angelo came out with that album a couple of years back, but it was long anticipated, so it was still a banger. But that's time. Mm-mm. I feel like making love to you. Roberta Flack. And she was on background. She wasn't even one of the headliners. I just love how they allowed the music to do what it needed to do instead of being like, let's put somebody on there that's famous. But it was really about the voices and them coming together to lift every voice, to make something bigger than themselves, something that lasts longer than their lifetime. That's all I'm trying to say. Uh, So those were a couple of the people who were a part of the set. So I just thought that was cool. I already made my point. So we're going to move on to the actual topic of today. If you know me, you know I digress a little bit. I hope you don't mind. But it's all about finding your voice as a singer. Now, I happen to be a singer and I tell this story all the time, but I haven't necessarily documented the story. So today is going to be one of those things as we are talking about finding our voice. I have been able to sing since I can remember. I grew up in the church. My grandma was a tremendous, dynamic, projecting. You know, the people from the old school don't even need mics, okay? She was a tenor. She had this rich, powerful voice, and she sang as well as played organ and piano, and she taught us to sing, just kind of going through the ranks of me and my cousins to see who picked it up. So we were all musical, but of course, you know, some children take to different things differently, and I happened to really enjoy singing with her. So it was something that we would always do back and forth. We'd have little singing contests, and she would always get on me about being so shy. When it was just she and I could sing my face off, but the moment other people came around, I got shy. And that's something that I've always done. I can dance my ass off. If you know me, you know that I dance. Public speaking, no problem. Walking a runway, no problem. But singing in front of people is like literally like tearing apart your soul and pouring it into someone else's ears for them to judge, for them to critique. It's something about it is just absolutely or was absolutely terrifying for me. So although I could sing and I spent a lot of time preparing to perform, I always got I always got chronic stage fright when it was actually time to sing. So there are lots of opportunities that I missed because I was literally too afraid to sing. So again, if you know me, you know that once people, I grew up with this, and every now and then people that were really close to me would find out that I could sing and they'd ask me to sing and I'd be like, I'll sing, but there are conditions. And the conditions were you either couldn't look at me, so my back had to be turned to you or vice versa, or I had to be in the other room entirely. Like I can't see you, you can't see me, I can't even feel your presence, and I'm just gonna sing. So just so shy with this gift, so shy. And you know that music is the great communicator as well as the great liberator. So music is something that brings us together for sure. So I definitely feel like being able to sing is a gift. So it was definitely a gift of mine that I was petrified of sharing with others. So I would still sing, you know, listening to music like most of us. And it was so easy to imitate your favorite singers. You know, like you even see it nowadays with people who may not have necessarily grown up listening to soul music or black music, and we're talking about Black Music Month. And so they're kind of late to the party. So they go and they listen and they do their best to mimic and imitate what they're here, but that's kind of where they stay. And I definitely feel like no matter what kind of artist you are inspired by someone. So inspiration is a part of the process. That's how we all learn, is through imitation. That's how we learn to walk. That's how we learn to talk. That's how we learn to do most things that we know how to do. So that's completely fine. But as a singer, especially living in a world nowadays where everybody sounds the same, once you get past that imitation stage, it's really important to find your voice within that inspiration. Yes, I like this tone, but I want to sing this way, or, I like the runs that they do, but I want to do it a little differently. And I think that's really important. I think there needs to be more space for artists who don't fit this status quo or sound like all of the other singers that are on the radio, because it gets so boring. I literally, again, this is me having an auntie moment. I can't tell anybody on the radio apart from anybody. I really don't even listen, but that's me being on my soapbox. And I digress. So back to my story. Always had stage fright. Went to college. One day I'm in business ethics and I'm sitting there like, what the hell? Like, I'm supposed to be learning about accounting and finance and human resources, and we're having an ethics class? Like, is this shit the wild, wild west? Like, is this really necessary? Damn, because people are out here wilding. And I was like, man, that's just not a place for me. I've always been a person who's ruled by conviction. So I consider myself to be a spiritual free agent now, but at the time I was Christian, so I prayed. I asked for guidance. I was like, what's something that I can do for the rest of my life, have purpose in it, have pride in it, be able to look myself in the mirror every day and be proud of who I am, continue to want to do it, continue to be motivated and inspired and learn and grow and evolve. And when I said that prayer, what came to me was sing, which was crazy because of all of the skills and knowledge that I acquired. Singing was the thing I was the most afraid to do. So it was like, God was like, okay, you asked me and I think you should sing. And I'm like, no, but that means I have to share it with people. I have to do it in front of people. So I kind of tried to like, evade that a little bit, kept trying to live my life. And then there would just be perfect strangers that would come out of nowhere. I mean, they could be young, old, man, woman, race. It didn't matter. People would come up to me and say, God is waiting on you to do what God sent you here to do. And it was like, the first couple of times, it's like, oh, what a coincidence. I was cute that day. Maybe I was humming a little bit. Because, sometimes when you have your headphones in and you're shopping or you're out somewhere, you're feeling the music. I was like, oh, maybe they're just feeling my vibes. Maybe they just see me. They're like, yeah, girl, you need to. But after a while, I really decided to actually answer the call. And so that's what I did. I said, but I can't do it alone. I don't want to sing by myself. So I thought that I would pick up bass. And that is where my journey as a vocalist started. Um, Actually taking it seriously. I've always been able to sing. As far as being a musician is concerned, I play electric bass guitar. The first instrument I ever played besides the recorder, because we all got those in elementary school, was actually the cello. So the cello was the first instrument that I ever played. And if you know what this reference is, the cello's played like this, but if you turn it to the side, cello, you got the bass. That's corny, but that's okay. I'm keeping it in there. So yeah, the cello was pretty much the first instrument that I ever learned to play, and I kind of ended up coming back to that in the end. But after orchestra, I went on to band. My band instructor told me to play the flute, but I thought she was being a little racist because I had big lips. And I was a little bit of a tomboy, so I was like, man, the flute's for fairies. And it is a very whimsical instrument, but it's really nice. I respect flutists, flautists. But I learned to play the clarinet instead. From the clarinet, I went to the bass clarinet, and from the bass clarinet, I went to the saxophone. So I've had my fair share of musical endeavors throughout my life, and so it's landed me here where I sing and play bass simultaneously. I write songs with my bass, I learn songs with my bass, and just for anybody who's learning a musical instrument or who's coming out of their shell as being a singer, it's really never too late as long as you take care of your instrument and maintain it. If you smoke, at least try to drink some hot teas. Don't smoke as much, maybe vape. You definitely keep yourself healthy. And the same with music or being a musician. Definitely keeping your fingers dexterous if you need that. Stretching out your wrists, that kind of thing. But I don't think it's ever too late. And YouTube, you can learn anything on YouTube. Honestly, when I went back into music, learning to play the electric bass, I didn't actually take lessons, but I took YouTube University. So it's possible to learn to play an instrument on YouTube. It's also possible to get singing lessons on YouTube for sure. But again, you definitely want to tighten up on your craft just because it's a muscle. It's something that you work, it's something that you strengthen over time, and you really get out what you put in. So that's kind of my advice, and that's what I've definitely learned on my journey as a musician. As you get out what you put in, for sure. You can do it part time, but you're going to have a part time skill. It's going to show. Whereas if you do it full time, if you really put yourself into it, it's also going to show as well. And realizing that success in this industry doesn't look the same for everybody. When I first actually started to pursue music, I went in bright eyed and bushy haired. I still have bright eyes and I still have bushy hair, but I'm not as green as I once was. You think that you just need to come in with talent, with hunger, with drive, with passion, with a dream in your heart. And honey, music is a business. So if you are going to go to school for anything, but you still want to pursue music, of course, besides production, I would definitely recommend that you get some sort of training in contracts, business, law, something to actually help to make you business savvy as well as just not being a creative. But again, I feel like finding your voice is the most challenging thing about being a musician because there is so much inspiration. A lot of people say that inspiration is the highest form of flattery. I honestly feel like inspiration is the highest form of laziness. Again, nobody is reinventing the wheel, but you can redefine it. And I think what makes music exciting and fun is the ability to learn and grow and experiment and collaborate. And I think if you just stay in one lane, you're really just not allowing yourself the full experience of the full spectrum of what music has to offer. Just because it worked for someone else doesn't mean that it'll work for you. And again, your voice is unique. I really feel like voices are like fingerprints. Like, even again, going back to the whole lift every voice and sing, that's how a choir is made. That's how harmonies are made. And I think it's just important to find where you fit in it all. If you're constantly measuring yourself up to other people, your voice will always be constricted. You'll never really have an idea of what you sound like, what you can actually do. Definitely learn your range. I definitely recommend seeing a vocal coach if you are a vocalist, or if you're a vocalist, you definitely need to see other people besides just going on YouTube. You need professionals to hear you and give you guidance and give you advice for sure. So that's not as easy as just picking up an instrument, figuring it out, getting the equipment and jumping out there. As a vocalist, you really need to be under some sort of tutelage to be your best. And knowing that you are a vessel. This is bigger than you. Music moves through you. It's not yours to just hold on to. It's not yours to monopolize. It's yours to share. It's yours to be a part of, to be a representative of. But it's not about ego. That being said, if you've rehearsed and you've practiced and you've done your best and you sound damn good, I also don't think that there's anything wrong with having confidence. I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing your shit and making sure that other people know it, because You know, musicians do be trying vocalists though. They do be trying you, so it's good to know your shit. You know, if anything you do. If you were in the medical field, I would want to make sure that you actually went to med school and specialized in whatever it is that I'm looking for you to specialize in before you did any work on me. It's kind of the same thing. Again, and finding your voice also comes with being authentic. Authenticity, because people can tell. People in the audience can tell when you're not into it. You know, we think we're so clever. Now, I mean, sure, it's different from if you're sick and the show must go on. You have to sing anyway. But audiences can tell when you're not being convincing. It's a lot like acting. Since singing is something so pure and intimate and something to share, and since it is a spiritual thing, people can tell when your spirit is off. But I find, sure, I can imitate Whitney Houston, I can imitate Aretha Franklin, I can imitate Shaka Khan, but I sound best when I try to sound like myself. I can imitate Sarah Vaughan because I love Sarah Vaughan. Sarah Vaughan's jazz singer, Anita Baker, but back to Sarah Vaughan. Ooh, Sade. I love, love, love Sade. Sexy Sade. Sarah Vaughan's voice is like, I don't know if I want to say, I could say honey because it's viscous, thick, and sweet. Molasses because it's just slow and dense and dark and whew. Or if I want to say like melted baby oil gel because it's thick, has that texture, but it slides on so smooth and slick. Listen, I love Sarah Vaughan, and again, going back to the source, Sarah Vaughan is a black woman, so we are talking about black music. But I discovered Sarah Vaughan from listening to Amy Winehouse, and Amy Winehouse was like that. Sarah Vaughan was one of her inspirations, and you can hear it in Amy's music, but she doesn't try to sound exactly like Sarah. She just takes some of the elements that she likes to make her own flavor. And again, I think that's what it's really about. Your voice is like Slumdog Millionaire. It is a culmination of the experiences that you've had through life. You know, again, a lot of people nowadays are trying to imitate soul singing to sound more ethnic, to sound more soulful. But the soul is a part of your genetics. Soul is sorrow, it's joy, it's pain, it's love, it's triumph. It requires so many elements. So it's so important that not only do you find a voice, but I feel like you use your voice to talk about what you know. Not not whatever you think everybody wants to hear, but what you have to share. Because again, that makes you convincing. And I feel like some of the best music is relatable music. And the best way that you can relate is by being yourself and using your voice. So, again, some people, and remembering that it's a collaborative effort. We have some singers out nowadays that are awful singers, but they're wonderful writers. Why not write for someone who has this amazing gift, but not necessarily the words to articulate it? Or vice versa. I feel like both sides are needed. And I just feel like everybody's just trying to grab. And I mean, this is a soapbox speech. With that saying, I don't want to say that if you don't have the most soulful voice, that you shouldn't sing, because I don't agree with that either. Billie Holiday, you got Erica Badu, one of my favorites, Corinne Bailey Ray, who people would not necessarily say are the most wonderful singers, but the air that they have, their delivery, even Sade, their delivery, their energy, how grounded they are and who they are, and how they are able to sing with their voice and be their authentic selves makes their music powerful, makes their music wonderful. So, We all have voices to lift, to do our part, to pass this music on. You have your own voice inside of you. Be inspired, be motivated, but find what works for you. And I feel that this works in all capacities, whether you're a vocalist or musicians. Musicians also have mentors. Musicians also have famous instrumentalists that they look up to, but you really have to find your own way, leave your own mark, because it's what makes you you. And after all, music is a legacy. For me, as a musician, I want to create something bigger than me, something that stands the test of time. And a lot like James Weldon Johnson, he didn't know how far his poem was going to go, but his poem went from a poem to a song, and from a song into history, and from history into an anthem. But he had to use his words, he had to use his voice to inspire and empower others. There's somebody else out there who wants to sing, who may have a song in them, but they haven't seen someone with a voice similar to them or a style similar to them out there. So they haven't been inspired. They think that it's impossible. They think that they can't do it. And by using your own particular voice, you set yourself free and you also empower others to do the same. So find your voice, stay inspired, and hey, who am I? I'm no expert, I'm no guru. I am Hathor, and this is my experience. So keep singing. And if you don't sing, keep listening to music. Music is powerful. Artists need patrons just as much as you need music to listen to. We need people to listen to our music. Support your local artist as well. Support your indie artist. Support the artists who aren't necessarily in the top 40 but have banging ass music like myself. So that's it. That's all. I just wanted to talk about Black Music Month and just the impact that music that we've made has had on us as a people as well as the world. And since again it is a spiritual, it's heavily rooted in spirituality, it's definitely a way that we as Black people express ourselves, articulate ourselves, heal ourselves, and move forward. So if you have a voice, use it and know the power of your words. This has this song's been sang for centuries, right? A century? Y'all, I'm bad at math. Again, that's why I'm a musician. But those words are powerful. So really think about what it is that you have to say and make sure that you leave a message that will stand the test of time. Whether it be about love, whether it be about life, again, just keep it real and keep it authentic. Like this video, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and until next time, peace.